Hello and welcome everybody to another video. My name is Silas and today I want to show all of you, or I guess I'm going to give all of you my feedback about Pop! OS because now I've been using it for 151 days and now I'll review my experience with Pop! OS and what I like and what I don't like. This video is going to be split up in two parts. The first part is going to be how I actually use Pop! OS, so you'll see my usage of it and my perspective, and if you like, then you could also use it the same way. And the second part of this video is going to be just me explaining the positives and the negatives of what I like and dislike about Pop! OS, and well, yeah, let's get into it. So part one now is how do I use Pop! OS? So first of all, what specs am I running on? I've got Pop! OS 21.10, which I think is the newest one that exists right now. Yeah, I have dual monitors, a 1080p and a 1440p monitor. Gnome 40. Yeah, I have a 24-thread Ryzen 9 processor and a GTX 1060. Yeah, and I also have 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than enough, although sometimes it does come in useful for like a lot of virtual machine things, like when I'm doing crazy dumb shit inside of VirtualBox, which is insane. Or video editing, it's fine for that too, but 32 is pretty good. 32 is pretty good. Let's close it out with this. The first thing that you already saw here was a extension, because I've installed quite a bit of extensions. So if we look at this list here, don't look at these ones down here because that's just built in. What I've installed are these. First thing here is applications menu, which that just didn't work. We're gonna get to that. That's a replacement for this. I don't know why this just didn't install itself, and I'm like, well, and I guess I'm not installing that then, because I don't really care that much, just a bit, so I don't know. Burn my windows. That's the one that you just saw right here. This gives you nice looking effects for when you open and close a window, which I don't really care about animations that much. In fact, when I had on my old Android phone, I had animations completely turned off. And on Windows 10, I also had basically all animations turned off, but now I'm like, well, it doesn't really affect me, just a little bit. Because animations make things slower, right? So I've just learned to accept that, and then I found this, because you can have this matrix effect for opening and closing windows, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. This has other effects too, broken glass. T-Rex attack. Getting ripped apart. Yes. TV effect. I like this one as well. Oh, I've put the time up very much. Oh, that does look good. That looks... that looks wild. That looks also pretty cool, I think. That looks awesome. But I've chosen to only use the matrix effect. You can use multiple ones. Cool little extension if you like the Matrix. I think this is wild. I think this is awesome. And I've made it faster. You can customize it to an extent. Scale, make it really big. Letters. Make it really tiny, many letters. Then I have Clipboard indicator, which actually is this thing right here. It just shows you a little history of the random stuff that you copy, because Windows has this built in, I think, when you press Windows key and V. I don't think this happens in Pop! OS, so I've just installed this extension because it's pretty cool. Then I have example, which is literally just this saying hello world, because I was playing around, or I am playing around with making Gnome extensions, just because I think that's interesting and fun. We can turn that off, it doesn't do anything. It literally just says hello world. Extension list. I had this installed and then I was like, oh, I don't really need a menu like this, and then I just turned it off because this whole panel exists for that. So GSconnect, I think that's pretty useful. This is an implementation of KDE Connect, and if you don't know what that is, that's basically a nice way of connecting your phone to your PC. You just go to the Play Store and download KDE Connect and install it. And then you didn't even have to do like a whole lot of setup. You just put in a device name for your PC, and then I think it immediately showed up in the phone app. Maybe I could make a video about KDE Connect, or GSconnect in this case. That would be probably a great video, because this also works on Windows and stuff, and it's great. That makes it very easy to send files from your PC to your phone, and from your phone to your PC and stuff like that. It gives you media controls, like if you're doing a presentation, it has presentation mode. So you can use your phone as a remote. Yeah, multimedia control, no players found. I can, if we start a music player here, I guess, we can, oh well, that's the point we're going to get to shortly. If we find any music, Tempest 2000. Okay, it actually says no music player found. I don't know why. But hey, actually, you can also have, you can use this for remote input. So I'm actually using my phone as a touchpad right now. So you can tap for a click. Use 2 and 3 fingers for middle and right click. So if your mouse actually breaks or something, it also has file input. So you can, well, not file input, but like keyboard input. So you can write like, I don't know. Well, that's my attempt at writing Minecraft. Well, you get the point. If your peripherals break, then you can use your phone or like a tablet or something. Or maybe for people with disabilities, maybe that could be useful. I don't know. At least it exists and it's a cool feature. Slideshow mode. You can lock your device and use the volume keys to go to the previous and next slide. That's very cool. Pointer. Oh my god, it gives you a pointer. So when you press it, has a big pointer button. And when you press that, you can use your phone's the gyro sensor and point your phone left and right, up and down. Like a Wiimote. Like a Wii remote. That's pretty awesome. Send files. I can send files. I've actually set up a special folder in my downloads, I think. So I can just choose a file here. I don't know, it's a random image. An image of the cat. And okay, and then there we go. Transfer successful. Look at the cat, look at it. Okay. You can also, if you're like in your Galleries app, you can just select multiple images and then click send like you would normally share something to like Twitter or WhatsApp or something, and then press KDE send to device, and then it sends all of them at once, and that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. What I also like is you get all your notifications from your phone in here as well. And also if we like start playing a podcast or something, which podcast could that be? You could play Uploading Podcast, which is my own podcast. Play that on my phone. Yeah, and then it says right here, Castbox. We've never heard of this, but it's important. That's the title of the episode. And then it also has the actual player controls here. So I can start it. And now it's broken. Now it shows an empty. What has happened? Small talk that we do at the beginning here. Let's just go. So I guess this is a bug with my Podcatcher app, because they have this weird mode where it shows you like rain and stuff to fall asleep. And I guess this switches between those modes, and I'm absolutely confused why. That's a bug. This is insane. When I actually was trying this out with YouTube yesterday, as preparation for this video, it was working perfectly. So let's do that. Let's get a YouTube video going.
Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. Guys, welcome back to r/I don't work here.
There we go.
Where Karens assume anybody
You can pause it.
and
Start it again.
And in today's
And I think that's... It's not that useful. It's a bit useful, but like not that much. I just mainly think it's actually funny. You can press next.
Welcome to r/True Off My Chest, where OP discovers that her mother has been sleeping with her husband for 2 decades. So,
Wow. I'm back.
episode, OP encounters a
The pause, yeah. It works pretty well. It does work pretty well. Share. Send to device. Pop OS. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I didn't even realize you can do that. No need to go into like your history or something. No, just press share on your phone. Press share and then send to device, and it immediately opens up a browser window. That's pretty cool. So even though it's a bit buggy, it still works great, I think. Screenshot tool, that's this. Select area, select window, select desktop. With a capture delay. So you could be like, oh, I don't know, this area, but, oh wait, like that. And then you got your new screenshot. And it's pretty cool. It's actually really sick. I think GNOME does have a built-in screenshot tool, but I've never used that, I think. Mainly because I find it very convenient just having this button there. Timezones Extension, that's literally just this. Time zones, it just shows different time zones up here. Mainly because I like to know what the time is in other countries. Because I have people that I work with in America and in other places. So we can actually negotiate times and stuff correctly. I just think that's really convenient for me. First of all, because it's interesting, and also because so we can record the podcast at the correct time and things like that. And then I also have installed Unite, which is a little extension. If anyone remembers Ubuntu from years ago, where they tried having their own desktop environment called Unity, they would remove the title bars, like these title bars, when you maximize the window, and I always thought that was a great feature because it gives you a lot more screen real estate. Like, I want to use as much of the screen for work as possible, so, you know, traditionally your OS would kind of look like that, right? You'd have a top bar, maybe, and then the title bar of the window, and then the menu bar in the window, and then another menu bar, and then your taskbar or your dock or whatever. I don't like that very much because it takes up a lot of space. And on Unity, the menu bar would be inside of the top bar, which is way better than what GNOME does nowadays because it's almost useless. It just has a few like tray icons and then the clock and maybe like a Workspaces button. Yeah. So, what this extension does is it hides the title bar on Windows that don't use a title bar for anything else. I've set it up to give me maximize and, well, close and minimize buttons right here. Because, yeah, I just think that's very useful because look at how much more space is used for the actual content now. That's so great. It doesn't work with everything. Like if you look at Nemo right here, it does get rid of the menu bar. If you look at the Minecraft launcher, that also gets rid of the menu bar there. Everything that doesn't have any use in the menu bar like this. And I also think this is okay because that actually uses the space of the menu bar to do other things. So, but just for the ones, for the windows that don't actually have anything inside of the title bar, I like this extension. I really like it. Yeah, and then what other settings do I have? I have the dock on the bottom right here, and I've extended it outside the actively used area. Right, you can have it like this, but I think that looks horrendously ugly when you make a, well, I think that looks really ugly because you have this unused space on the left and the right. I don't like kind of cut off docks like that, so extend dock to the edges, just do it. Nice. And then also tiling windows. I use this whenever I want to like get work done, I guess. And there's moments and times where you want to have tiled windows, so I like that this option exists, and I do use that very often. I also have active hint color set to this kind of orangey dark. I think having this kind of border around windows so you can actually know which one is active immediately is a very good feature. Because how often do you sit there and you try and do like a keyboard combination or like press a button to full screen a YouTube video or whatever, and then it does something completely different because you forgot that you still had like a window on the other screen focused on or something, and then it fucks things up. So I like that. I like that a lot. I've also installed Nemo File Manager here, which is this one right there, compared to Nautilus, which is the standard GNOME file managing software. Nautilus is fine, but I don't actually know if Nautilus has this, but I like this kind of dual pane view, so you can immediately like copy things from one folder to another when you're in different folders, because you literally are. It's two folders in one thing. If you don't want, you can just do that. I've set this up to always start with a dual pane mode. This has a lot of settings. Like if you look at this, preferences. Look at how much there is in here. I already think that's way superior than the goddamn preferences in Nautilus. Like, look at that. It's almost pathetic. Both have tabs, which is good. Both have tabs. Open new tab. Except this has twice the tabs because, well, you literally have two panes. And also what I like about Nemo is you can just, like, if you need to, like, copy a file into a protected folder, you can just do open as root, and then it gives you this little warning. Oh, elevated privileges, watch out, you're gonna delete the Linux kernel if you don't watch out or something. Yeah, I don't know if Nautilus has this. At least I haven't found it, because it doesn't, nowhere here does it say open as root. So I don't know. I like Nemo. I'm happy with this. So yeah, that's how I use my PopOS installation usually. I think Gnome extensions are great because it allows everybody to contribute just a tiny bit of customizability to GNOME without having to like fork their own version of GNOME and develop their own desktop environment and stuff like that. But it's great until there's a new GNOME version and an extension breaks and you can't install it anymore. Welcome to part 2, which is the positives and negatives. Let's start off with the positive things. So my first point that I've written down for positives is actually the launcher, which is this thing right here. You can configure it as a button right here. I just map it to the super key. And if you don't know what this is basically where you can, well, search apps and do a lot of other things. Like if you want a new Firefox window, you can open a new Firefox window right here. Or if you want to switch to a Firefox window that you already have open, you can also do that, which I think already is a great concept. You can also do other things. You can immediately do like a web search in here. And how do you do that? You just type in Google or DuckDuckGo. Or I think a few other search engines are supported as well. But then you can type in, I don't know, Gnome 42, the newest GNOME version. And then, wow, there it is right there. Way better than the Windows search, which just fucking uses Bing all the time. Which you can do here as well. You can also search for files in here. So if you're like, well, I don't remember our podcast episode, you just type in find, and I don't know, if you want to search for a random file or a folder, like Apple Podcast icons. There it goes. Find episode 13. And then you can be like, oh, look, there's my recordings of episode 13. Or there's the cover artwork for episode 13. Wow, it's so good. And actually, this search is way better than on Windows because it actually goddamn works. You can also do things like, I don't know, 420 pounds to kilograms, 190 kilograms. That's handy when speaking to Americans, when they're like, oh, wow, I'm living 69 miles away from look, it even already shows you kilometers, 111 kilometers. That's hilarious, that's funny. You can also use this for folder navigation. So you can just type in /bin/ whatever. This is very useful because I know that the .minecraft folder is inside of the home directory, so you type in whatever this symbol is called and then a /.minecraft, and then when I want to add a mod to the Minecraft game, just gotta find the mods folder and then open it up, and then there you go. Also, don't think you can do that on Windows that easily. I might be mistaken, but yeah, it's pretty good. If you know roughly where the location for a folder is, you can easily navigate to it with the launcher, which is great. And you can also just run terminal operations in there, so you can be like run, and I didn't write it correctly. Run Neo Fetching, and there you go. My only problem with this is that it kicks you out of the terminal after you've run it, so you can't do more than one command at the time. And also, yeah, I have Cool Retro Term installed for when I want to use a terminal that looks funny. Oh, I didn't know that this happened when you scroll. Okay. So the launcher is great. What else is great? I like the pop shop itself, because when it's working, it's pretty cool. I often find myself just like browsing the goddamn, like any random category in this and then installing software very easily, and that is cool. Let's do a little example. System. Let's look at system. CPU-X. Yeah, let's install CPU-X. It doesn't have a flat pack, so it sucks a little bit, but not that much. So you just install it like that and then open, and then there you go. Got your new program. Got your new program. When you have something that's, say, a flat pack, you don't even have to put in your... goddamn, what is it called? Your password. Yeah, flat pack, press install, wait, open. Oh, there's already. Lol. Okay. Moderately concerned. And then there you have your new program. Pretty good, pretty cool. And then uninstall when you don't need it anymore. Doesn't take a lot of effort. It's super easy to use. It's really easy to use. And I know people are going to be angry like, oh, you can just goddamn write it in a terminal command. Not everybody wants to do that. Usually I don't want to do that because I can't be asked to fucking do it. I mean, I use the terminal for many things, but not that much. Like if there's a GUI, it's going to just be easier. Like updates being in here, having everything be updated at once is a lot nicer than typing in sudo apt update, sudo apt upgrade, and then apt flatpak update as well. I like doing this in here. So yeah, it's pretty useful, the pop shop. I like it. And next point that I wrote down is easy use of workspaces. So Control D and you get the workspace view, and you can easily, well, I don't know how this works on other distros. I've only been really using Pop! OS. Yeah, you can easily be like, well, I want this Firefox to be on here now. And actually, wait, I want my Arduino ID to actually be on here now because I have to use that now. Just the fact that you can take the windows from here and like drag them around like that is already awesome to me. I think that's so cool. I love it. And yeah, going back to the tiling aspect, let's do a little example of that. Like when you're coding and then you're like, well, I need this new file now where it says some, I don't know, a random description of what's supposed to happen. Let's pretend that this log file is actually like an instruction, like a description or whatever the program is supposed to do. Then you can be like, wow, okay. When the on button is pushed, turn the machine on. Okay, I'll code it. Close it. Get a new file. Get a new file. And you're like, oh, well, actually, yeah, we have motor 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I remember that correctly. So just code in 3 motors. So, yeah, the tiling is pretty nice, I think. Works well with a number of programs. You can easily resize them, make it whatever you need at that moment. So, yeah. I really like this. It's very cool. It's very useful to only have it sometimes. I wouldn't use a tiling window manager where it basically only has the ability to tile those windows because that's probably confusing to me. But having this as an optional thing is very cool to me. Also, a quick honorable mention is just to, I don't know how this works on other full screen programs because I only use Minecraft with full screen. When you switch between full screen and not full screen mode, this transition that looks so nice. If you do this on Windows, it fucks up so much, it struggles so much, it seems like it's having like a heart attack or something. On here, it just seamlessly goes full screen. I'm like, ooh, that's so awesome. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look how cool it looks. It looks so good. You can go from tiny little Minecraft to big Minecraft very smoothly. That's insane. That's pretty stupid. Let's move on to my negatives. Pop Shop is a negative because yes, it's very good when it works. And usually it works, but like you start it up and then it usually freezes for a bit. Or oftentimes it just freezes for a bit while it's like doing things. Right now, frozen again. Frozen. It gets like stuck doing things. It's not crashed, but it's like feels pretty sluggish. And then sometimes when you have updates and you press update all or you just individually update things, sometimes it will just close itself. It will like crash. And other times you literally can't even open it anymore. And I don't know why that happens. You can just press the Pop Shop button as often as you want and it does literally nothing. When it usually doesn't want to launch itself from the normal button, you can still, at least from what I experienced so far, you can still launch it when you type in sudo and then the application name. The problem though is that it has a really weird name in the terminal. It's like io.elementary.application store or something. So you have to like Google how the actual Pop! OS Pop Shop name is in the terminal so you can sudo launch it, which I think is pretty stupid. Can you do that from here? Can you launch as root? No, you can't launch. That would be an option that I like to have. I would like to have just launch as root. So in this case, it installed all the things correctly and it worked and it's fine. So Usually it's gonna work, but sometimes it just doesn't, which is sad. Another thing that I don't really like is what you just saw, this menu right here. I don't know why this looks like a really cheap menu to me. This reminds me of the menu in Windows 11, which I just hate very much. At least this has little folders that you can create, and you can see I tried to like organize myself a bit, but I don't know. It didn't work out. I don't like it. I rarely ever use this. I only use this if I really can't remember a name of a new program, because if it's a new program, chances are it's going to be in Library Home. Sometimes it sorts things in here automatically, like Office. I don't think I'd put this in here, any of these. I would prefer like a normal, regular Windows start menu kind of application menu instead of this, what looks like a touchscreen thing, or maybe include this still, but like give us a normal menu as well, a normal start menu kind of thing. My next point is sometimes the dock does weird things. And I don't know if it was caught in the recording already. I think it was, because it's not happening right now. Well, I don't know if it was. You'll see in the edit if it was. Sometimes the little tooltip, when you hover over an icon, that sometimes stays turned on, even though you're inside of another program, and then the dock doesn't disappear. Or sometimes the dock is disappeared, but the name of the application is still here, which is really annoying, I think, because then you'll notice and you'll go down and hover over it, and then it will disappear. But don't get stuck like that. It's really annoying, because it happens like every few minutes. It probably has happened at least once or twice during this whole recording. I don't know why this happens. Maybe this is an issue with my own system in some kind of way. I also have an issue where I have my capture card, which is supported in Linux because it's literally just a normal camera device. I don't know why this happens. On Windows it never did this. Unless my capture card is actively being used, it kind of like resets itself every few seconds, and I don't know why that is, and nobody has been able to answer me so far. So when I'm like, oh, I want to play a game now, and I switch my TV over to HDMI because I want to play the Nintendo Switch or something, it like, you can't fucking do it. You can't do it unless you also start OBS or like Cheese or something. It's really stupid. You can see it like actively flashing. Maybe this is because of like PCI-e hot plugging or something, because it knows, oh, the card is not being actively used. Let's see if it's still there. Let's see if there's a new card. I don't know. If that's the case, please somebody tell me how to turn off PCI-e hot plugging, because I don't do that anyways. Or, I don't know, it's just annoying. On Windows it never did this. Now my last little point is when you turn on the tiling feature, some programs don't work very well when they're being tiled, and then some glitches happen, and it like completely freaks out. So if we look at my Windows 11 install video, hello and welcome to my. See, this is exactly what I mean. This is now VLC player. Oh, well, I guess reacts to. And it's like I've minimized the file explorer, and it's completely glitched out. It's completely screwed. It's like actually done for. Some programs don't like to be tiled, I guess. Sometimes it works, which is the weird thing. Sometimes when you like listen to an audio track, it will work. Let's try again with an audio track. With VLC. No, it's also screwed. And this is now the end of a little video about if I liked Pop! OS, or how my experience with Pop! OS was for 151 days. I'm going to continue using it. Maybe I'm going to switch to another distro. Like, as I've been looking at other distros in VMs for this channel, I do like research. Like, oh, is this good for a video? And I'll just install a random new OS, see if it's good or not. The more I look at other distros, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm going to switch. And I think that's natural. You're going to switch from one distro to another just to like screw around and see and have fun. But I would also be happy to just keep using this, which is what I'm probably going to be doing. Because I'm too lazy to figure out how distro hopping works. So, yeah, I hope this was a good video. And if it was, then leave a like and a subscribe, please, if you want to. And I hope that this was useful to you in choosing Pop! OS or not choosing Pop! OS. Goodbye.